The Cleveland Browns quarterback is in trouble, and for all the right reasons. The NFL commissioner said to reporters in a press conference on Tuesday that Deshaun Watson should be suspended for a year at least. Will Watson be able to get back to the leagues after the suspension? What will be the effects of this behavior on the QB's future? Keep watching if you're interested in finding out. Deshaun Watson suspend. What does this mean? And what's next for the Cleveland Browns QB? Deshaun was charged with a 6-game ban by Robinson, the disciplinary officer, earlier this month, and the NFL appealed to that ruling, seeking a full year suspension. People were curious to find out the reason behind the appeal, and so were we. We're not just glad but satisfied with the answer that we've gotten. The NFL commissioner told the reporters that the evidence against Watson calls for at least a year-long suspension. He said the league seeks a tougher penalty for the quarterback because his actions were egregious and predatory behavior. We believe so too. As expected of the public, they criticized Robinson's decision a lot, saying that the 6-game suspension was too lenient, given all the allegations the football player was facing. And not just that, the ban also fell short of the punishment the NFL was seeking. Disciplinary officer Robinson said that Watson's action didn't fall under the category of violent behavior. That's why it required a 6-game ban at the bare minimum. However, the NFL wasn't satisfied with the former decision, and as of yet, we don't know what direction they will be taking moving forward. Is the suspension going to affect Deshaun's contract? Now we know that Watson has been suspended for a year following his misconduct, but what effect does it have on the quarterback's career? Apparently, the full guaranteed $230 million contract, yes, you heard that right, the contract that Watson signed as part of his time in Texas essentially would be frozen and will resume in 2023, which means his 2022 contract year will become 2023, and instead of it ending in 2027, the ending year will be pushed back 1 year as well. Next up, will the fact that Roger Goodell has the authority to make a decision affect Deshaun's case? We know Roger Goodell is the NFL commissioner and has the authority to make decisions on his own, but whether he'll take matters into his own hands and take the appropriate action or select another person to handle the appeal isn't clear just yet. Moving on, why isn't Deshaun facing charges for previous allegations? Watson has received complaints from 24 women, saying that he engaged in sexual misconduct during massage sessions. Even though the Cleveland Browns QB has settled 20 of those suits, we still think there might be something off, given that not one, not two, but 24 women came forward saying they felt threatened by the player's behavior. But by the looks of it, we're the only ones thinking these thoughts. Because guess what? The Harris County grand jury decided not to charge Watson for previous allegations after an investigation. After the grand jury's decision not to indict made it possible for Deshaun to return to the field, thanks to the NFLPA's strict actions that won't be happening anytime soon. Also, Watson is famous for his bad conduct in the massage therapy community. In the Houston massage therapy world, rumors about Watson had been circulating for a while. Some therapists said that he was a last-minute booker, so don't expect a tip, which is a rather harmless warning. However, others were far scarier. 2 LMTs said that they were warned about Watson's inappropriate behavior last year by other members of their profession. We highly appreciate their concern to protect their colleagues. This includes him making overtly motions on the table or insisting on using a small towel that would barely cover his genital area instead of the usual massage draping. Weird, right? We thought so too. The first legal lawsuit against Watson was brought after a year of consultation. There were already 22 legal complaints in progress, each brought by a woman who claimed Watson violated her in some way while they were giving massages, either by exposing himself, touching them with his or, in 2 separate instances, forcing oral. We can only imagine the trauma these women must have gone through. Rusty Hardin, Watson's legal team's head, said in a statement that the answer to the question of whether they are stating that all 22 victims are lying about the allegations of sexual misconduct by Mr. Watson is a clear yes, although we think otherwise. We're also very pleased with the NFL commissioner's decision to suspend the quarterback for a whole year. The extreme power differential in a great athlete's interactions with the fragility of a role played in the shadowy corners of the sports world, the often misunderstood nature of what consent is, and the boundary between what is improper and what is legally offensive. They all have a role to play in how 24 women and Deshaun Watson got to this point. Now, moving on to some other news. After a disappointing, injury-filled season, the Ravens' defense is looking to rebound under Mike Macdonald's leadership. In training for the upcoming season, the Ravens unit is marching through new territory. This is a defense that's used to receiving high praise and securing consistent success. Baltimore's defense had to move past the 2021 campaign because that was one traumatizing campaign for them. It was a humiliating campaign plagued with injuries, inconsistent, and most startlingly, unable to strike much terror in the minds of opposing offenses. This made the team realize the importance of a heroic comeback this season. It was a terrible reality to suffer through with each passing week for a team that over the past 20 years has consistently produced arguably one of the NFL's finest defenses. That's why the Ravens didn't spend much time dwelling on that frustration during the offseason, which says a lot about them. Why the Ravens had a hard time last season is no mystery, but what matters is that they'll set the record straight this fall and let numbers speak. They've been training hard to come back, and we're pretty sure it'll be a welcome sight. Next up, the Giants and Jets are in identical, yet significantly different situations. The New York Giants prepared for work in the red zone during a sweltering practice on Sunday. Saquon Barkley received the ball repeatedly and sprinted all the way to the goal. This practice, which took place 2 weeks into training camp, lacked finesse and, according to veteran center John Feliciano, could best be described as an old-school headbanger. But there was running of the ball and then of sprints. The Giants' attitude was shifting as head coach Brian Daboll urged his team to step up their conditioning and aggression. Daboll, the newest coach to attempt to save the Giants from what has felt like a sleepwalk into the abyss, is only a few months into his position. Only a few miles away, Robert Saleh of the New York Jets is a year ahead of him in terms of imposing his style and choosing the team's players, but has the same basic task: turn years of failure into success. Although a head-to-head comparison is inevitable, it is far too early to make predictions about the course of these seasons. In 2 weeks, the Jets and Giants will practice together in an effort to learn from one another's mistakes and improve. We're very eager to see how that'll roll out for both of them. Lastly, the Steelers' quarterback race has been won by Mitchell Trubisky. Although Mitchell Trubisky appears to be gaining ground in Pittsburgh's three-way quarterback competition, securing the position in the preseason won't exactly put an end to this tale. Trubisky has nearly all of the first-team reps so far in camp, according to NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport, who said on Wednesday's episode of Inside Training Camp Live that he will very probably start for the Steelers on September 11th in Cincinnati. According to Ian, whatever happens, once the season starts will be the most interesting component based on the history of first-round picks entering the league. As the season goes, will Kenny Pickett have some starting opportunities, or will Trubisky fumble and they'll be forced to put him? In our opinion, that is the most important aspect of Pittsburgh's quarterback competition. Pickett appears to have improved daily, and the squad generally approves of his work. Things could change before Pittsburgh's preseason games, which begin on Saturday against the Seahawks, and feature the current backup Mason Rudolph. However, even if things continue to go Trubisky's way, history suggests the soon-to-be 28-year-old will still need to hold on to his spot throughout the season in order to prevent what the Steelers hope would be the end of their franchise. We don't know if we're excited or a little scared for Trubisky. Only time can tell what awaits him. That's a wrap for this video. Do you think Deshaun's suspension is justified? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.